What's up, friends? Happy Saturday! Happy Saturday! Oh man, happy Saturday! Oh man, let's do that one more time. One more time. We're live. Saturday morning. We're up. Listen, friends, welcome. I think I fixed. Okay, so last week we started the stream and we had all sorts of audio problems. People were like, I can't hear you. People were like, hey, the music's too loud. I'm hoping that we fixed it all this week. I did some testing yesterday. I did some testing this morning. You know, we're here. We're live. Listen, what more can you ask for? We made it to the end of the week. We're going to clap for that, yeah? What a week it's been as well. What a week it's been. For those who don't know me, my name is Coriel Weathers. I am super excited to be with you this Saturday. It's Saturday morning where I am. It is just past 9 a.m. I'm super excited to be lighting up, even though it's cloudy and gray outside. And I have a really short window of time to be with you all today. Just after this, I have some work I need to do around the house. My kids, I don't think my kids are here. They're with me, but they're not watching this week. But one of them has gotten sick. And so because they've gotten sick, we're constantly having to clean and wipe down the house and make sure things stay safe so that the other one so that we don't get sick. So, yeah. Okay, yeah. So it's going to be quite a Saturday today. I've got some yard work to do. The rain is coming. We've got some fun plans later. It's going to be a good time. But I am super, super, super excited to be with you all. How was your week? My week was incredibly busy. There was a lot going on. Just yesterday, I actually said goodbye to one of my fantastic colleagues over at Auth0. She's been a member of the developer relations leadership team with me for the past 3 years that I've been at the company. She's moved on to some fantastic things. I'm not going to give her a shout out because I did not get permission to share this, but she's moving on to some fantastic things. So I'm super excited. We had some time together yesterday. I also have an announcement to make. In a couple of weeks, I'm going to be sharing some big news with you all. So I'm very excited about that. I cannot wait. There's some fun things coming. And guess what? I also have a birthday coming up. Yeah, we got a birthday coming up in just a few weeks. So we got a lot of things going on. We have a lot of things going on, but I am super excited to be with you all. We also, for those who were with us as we would light the stream up previously, many folks know that I love Christmas so much that I never take my Christmas decorations down. And just shortly after Christmas are my kids' birthdays. And so we used to have a running gag because I would keep the Christmas things up and then I would keep my kids' birthday balloons up. And so it would turn into this whole thing where my kids' birthdays their birthdays would be in the background and people would be like, wait a minute, how old are you really? So we may pull that back out if I won't be anywhere near the computer on my birthday this year. I will be very much disconnected from all things tech, which some of you know I love to do that. It gives me a chance to recharge, to get my batteries sort of in a spot where I can continue to show up. So this year for our birthday, we may bring the gag back. And I have a funny way I think I'm going to do this. I'm not going to share too much, but I have a funny way I think I'm going to do this. So stay tuned. Yeah. We had a couple of other highlights this week. I had the chance to talk to a really good friend of mine who so where's the trumpet? Let's get the horns out. Yeah. So a really good friend of mine has just accepted a new job opportunity. Yeah, we love that. So shout out to everyone who is leveling up. I can't, again, another friend of mine, I didn't get permission, so I can't share their information, but they had been looking for a role for some time, and were able to finally find something. A lot of folks know this job market has been really tough. And I work in developer relations. They actually work in DevOps. And with all things AI and all the things going on, it's been a tricky time. So shout out to them. Shout out to everyone who is leveling up in any sort of way. If you have a win of the week, please don't be shy. Definitely drop it into the chat. And with that, let's actually just go say hi to our friends in chat. Yeah. Our friend Thindle is here. TBD Gamer is here. Welcome. Oh, it's so good to see y'all. Listen, if this is your first time, please don't be shy. We love saying hi. We try to be friendly. We keep this family friendly, especially on Saturdays. It's Saturday morning. We can't. I mean, I've gotten into it with some people on social media already this morning about the lack of basic comprehension that people display on social media. But, we won't bring that energy here. Yeah, we'll have some fun today. Nintendo says, wait a minute. You didn't talk to me. What is this? You have other friends? Yeah. No, funny enough too. So this week, I don't know if it's because I'm getting older. I'm finding that I don't like talking on the phone, right? But I'm finding that to get updates on people, I have to make phone calls. So I've been spending more time on phone calls this week than any week I think this entire year. I really don't do that at all. So yeah, it's interesting. Thindle asked if I'd ever heard of the John Gabriel Greater FWOD theory, which totally says that a totally normal person plus an audience plus anonymity equals, yep, yeah, I totally buy that. Because legitimately, the things that I've seen on the internet this morning have made me want to just ask people, one, how is it that you lack basic comprehension? But then two, how is it that you have no sympathy, compassion, or empathy for your fellow person? So yeah. This week I also saw that there were a number of things happening in the world of all things developers. There was the DevRelCon out in New York. I had a number of friends who were in New York this week who've reached out and asked me if I would be there. Because of what my daughter's going through, I'm actually quarantining from others because what she's got is actually very contagious. And so in the event that I may have it, I'm taking the option to sort of stay away from others for the most part. So I did not make it to New York. Additionally, my fraternity is having their general convention. Shout out to the Brothers of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. They're having their convention out this way as well. I did not go. I did not participate because we, again, with what my daughter's working through, we just cannot put anyone at risk, especially all those people traveling. So I know that there were some fantastic things happening. I also love what Thindo said, right? Which is that's also just being a good and respectful human, right? Like that's really, I mean, I'm going to clap for that, but that's really what we should just be doing, right? Like just basic decency. No? Anyways, yeah, so there's been a lot going on this week. Next week, I'm doing some things. I am always working on new things. Behind the scenes, I'm working on something for my sister, who one day I may convince her to join me on stream. But next week, we won't be streaming, unfortunately. I know. Yeah, next week we won't be streaming. Here's okay. Jesus. No, stop that. Yeah, here's why. So next week, oh look, it did it again. They really want to tell me how they feel. Next week, I have to go to a party. So we will be, I am just outside of the Philadelphia area. We will be headed to a party to celebrate my sister. So I will not be on stream next week because I have to go celebrate some family, which is exciting. Yeah, like that's a good thing. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. Next Saturday we won't be streaming. I think to not skip 2 weeks, we're going to likely get up a stream on Sunday. Don't like hold me like, okay, because I like to go to church on Sundays. I think a number of folks know that I'm a practicing Christian, a Baptist Christian at that. So I'm usually in virtual or real church on Sunday mornings. But we will see what happens. Okay. So that's one thing. The other thing is I have a fun announcement that I'm going to share in literally that 1 or 2 week time frame. So I told you we've got some fun things we're working on outside of the stream. I have a really big announcement that I'm going to share here on the stream. And then we'll likely do the LinkedIn thing live at the same time that we share it here on the stream. So it's almost like we're breaking some breaking news. So I'm really excited about that. You do not want to miss that. I promise you, you don't want to miss that. It's going to be fun. So yeah, okay. That's all the things. I'm done. I swear I'm done. I didn't get my water today. So, you know, we're going to see how this goes because today is a bit of a brainstorm, a bit of a code setup day. Here's the deal. If you've been joining me here on the app, on the streams, here's the deal. We've been working on our fractions app. I've been working on an app behind the scenes. I actually put some work into it this week outside of the stream to help my daughter learn how to do math with fractions. And it's been going really well. We've had some issues, but it's been, for the most part, going well. Me and Maui don't agree. I'm a C# developer. Shout out to the .NET community. I have never built anything with... what is Maui stands for the mobile application user interface, right? I think that's what it stands for. I've never built anything with Maui before. This was my first time. And I was doing it where I was crossing over. There we go. I was crossing over from Blazor. And so in this regard, it was we had some issues. I'm still trying to figure this out. It's just very weird. Anyway. So I've been making some progress on it outside the stream. And then I realized I need to get something else done. I have 2 other things I need to do. One of those things. I promised my sister that I would help her build a website for something that she's doing. So I started working on that this week. I can't work on that on stream. I didn't get her permission, so I'm not going to. But then the second thing is I spend a lot of time each week doing post-production on my streams. And so one of the things that I do is like, I have to go like download the video, make sure the video's of good quality, make sure I try to get the transcript from the video so that I can then take that transcript and turn that into a blog. Then I start to stage some of that blog content and like rework the blog so that I can then, you know, sort of give a stream synopsis. And I haven't been able to fully get through everything because it's just too much to do. So I want to automate that as much as possible. Now, today, we're going to spend some time talking to Copilot. I don't know if others do this. I'd be curious to hear what y'all do. I use Copilot to help me brainstorm. It's really effective in that way. So we're going to spend some time with Copilot as I brainstorm how I can solve this in an automated fashion. We're also going to, since Thendo said, make sure to blur out all my stupid comments. We're going to make sure we add that in to make sure we have a way to blur out foolish comments. And then we're going to probably do some of the setup today. But today is very much kind of like our brainstorming day where we just talk. And part of why I'm doing this on stream is because I've been having this conversation with a number of people about this idea of whether AI is really coming for their job today. And I'm still of the mindset that it is not. And I have said this over and over and over again. I'm not saying that there won't be a day. I'm saying today it is not. And the reason why is because while AI is rapidly advancing, AI is also still very stupid. I mean, literally, it's just not there yet. And so what I've realized is you still need a human to be a conductor, and that human needs to have some expertise in the thing that they're conducting. Otherwise, everything goes to, well, you know. So we're going to spend some time today talking about this. I see in the comments, Thindo says the same. Is AI coming for your job? Probably not. AI is a tool that will help you do your job better, but it can't do it for you. That's correct. TBD Gamer says, yeah, I did a whole stream on this yesterday because this is a hot topic right now. I'm fundamentally of the mindset, and I use a lot of AI in my job today. So I didn't share this. I usually share it. Today I help to manage the Blazor developer relations team. I'm the manager of our developer content team. When we do content, AI helps us streamline a ton, whether it's ideation, whether it's doing early reviews, whether it's helping to get some things, some understanding of trends and performance patterns. Like, I use AI every month to help me understand my numbers because there's so many numbers that I got to pay attention to understand the health of our content and the platforms that they're on. But I promise you, AI is not writing this report verbatim and I'm taking it and giving it to my senior leadership. The president of Blazor is not reading a report that was written by AI. It may have been influenced, but not written by AI. So, this is where we go. Last comments, and then we'll go have a conversation with Copilot. Thindo says, hey, do I remember the early problem where Google Translate got into a feedback loop? It started training on articles that it had already written. That's exactly right. I do remember that. There's all these interesting things as well. I won't even start. There are all these interesting examples from history where when you let the machines run themselves, at some point, a human has to step in and press reset. At some point. Again, I'm not saying there won't be a day. I'm saying today is not that day. So, our friend TBD Gamer says, you still need to be a developer. It's not a replacement for your talent or your ability. It can enhance it, but like any tool, it needs to be understood to get the most out of it, and misuse or misunderstanding will create some horrible problems. And that's a fantastic segue. I was talking to someone else about the fact that I built my website, CorielWeathers.com. Shout out to the folks behind Hugo. Amazing content management platform. I built my website on Hugo, and I think anyone who's watched me stream before has seen me say numerous times, I hate working with CSS. I am not someone who can translate my visual in my head into CSS on screen. Now, I know many people who can, and they are really good at this. I am not one of them. So I used Cursor to help me do the front end of all the things. And I don't dislike CSS because I don't know it. I know CSS actually fairly well. I used to do a fair amount of CSS. That's why I know it's not for me. And so I would ask Cursor to do some things, and it would legitimately do it in ways that were just like not necessary. So I'd be like, no, that's not. That's when I realized I had to turn off agent mode on Cursor, because it would just go do a bunch of things that was like way overkill. I'm like, no. That's not the way you do this. And so to TBD Gamer's point, if you don't know that it's doing something the wrong way, and you don't have the skill to be able to say this is the wrong way, you have no idea of what it is that this thing is actually producing. You have to be really mindful of that. So that being said, we're going to go have a chat with Copilot for a little bit. We got about, 40-ish minutes left today. Let's call this 35, 40 minutes. I'm going to keep an eye on the weather behind the scenes. If it starts raining, I can go a little bit longer, because then I can't do what I need to go cut the grass. I can't cut the grass when it rains. So yeah, we'll see how this goes. But yeah, let's go have a chat with Copilot. And I'm going to change screens. I'd already started some of this conversation, so I'll just pull y'all into the conversation, because, this is how I use Copilot. You get to see how my brain works. So I use Microsoft Copilot on all of the things, and it truly does help me think through things. Okay. So when it came to this, I said, look, here's what I want, right? I need to automate my stream workflow. How this works is I stream on these platforms. I want the stream transcript for this reason, and I want to build something with C#. That's what I said. Okay. Hold on 1 second. Yeah. So with that being the case, I legitimately said, okay, what can you do to help? Now, here's the thing. Copilot is really bad at confirmation bias. I will tell it some really bad things and it'll be like, yeah, go ahead, do it. It's a fantastic idea. So I've learned not to ask it those things. That being said, I said, okay, let's just see where this goes. So it says, hey, based on my workflow, here's what it would suggest. Now, it says these key components. I don't know that I necessarily agree with these, but let's follow this. It goes, hey, we need a stream integration module with some API connections for the backend platforms, maybe. Then we need a recording and transcription module specifically for audio extraction, speech to text, and then grabbing the transcript, which I think Azure Speech Services can do. I'm pretty sure we did this on stream before. I think Azure Speech Services can do this. Then it says do something around content parsing, right? So that it can then make sense of the content and be able to then give me some ideas. Because legitimately, it will then come in and say, hey, like, here's some punchy sound bites that could work. So it can then tell me which parts of the video would make sense to do this. I quite like that. I have a friend who's working on a startup that will automatically do this for you. Like, you give it the video and it will find these things so that you can then take it and then automatically share it to social. So there's that, right? And so then there's the short form video generator. I'm not getting into this. I don't like writing code to do video. I'm gonna be really, I don't know if I've ever said that before. I'm a .NET developer. I've been a .NET developer for, God, years now, at least 20 years. I do not like writing code to work with video. I have never found it to be a good experience. Okay. Then there's the content exporter. And I quite like that this is a thing too, where like I could just take, it could give me some suggested ideas for the content that I could then take and export and then put into, the way I write my blogs, I write them in Word. Then I go back and like adjust it with Copilot in Word, even though Copilot in Word is a very limited experience. And then I save it up in OneDrive. So this feels close to where I am anyway. We'll see if I can get this to work with like Word. You know, it's not that hard. I like that it gave me a tech stack. A lot of this tech stack is wrong. Let me put this in perspective for y'all, okay? Let me just put this in perspective for you. For what I want to do, the architecture that they're suggesting and the things that they suggest I do are like half of the battle. It's like missing some major things. So some of this is wrong, okay? Let's just call that what that is. Then they started getting into the UI thing, and I was like, ooh, I'd be curious to see the UI wireframe. And so it showed me this wireframe. And I was like, oh, actually, this is actually pretty close to what it suggested. Look at Copilot, actually very smart. Because look at this. This is actually really smooth. Now, I don't necessarily like this, but it's starting somewhere. We start from somewhere, okay? and then I said, okay, how do I? There's a reason. Part of the reason why I don't like it is because it doesn't actually do what I need it to do. Watch. So I said, hey, what if the transcript was for specific streams, not parts of the stream? How would you update the UX? Great twist. So I just find the way the Copilot talks to me to be hilarious. And Thendo said, hey, in my opinion, the worst thing that you could do is tell Copilot, no, you're wrong, because it always agrees and then will change its answer. That's exactly correct. These AI tools are just pathological liars. I'm 100% sure of it. Anyways, so I said, hey, yeah, great twist. Yeah, if you're generating transcripts per full stream, not segmenting by parts, the UX should reflect that higher level session-based organization. So here's how I'd evolve the design. Give us a main dashboard that has a calendar, streams, and search. Okay. Give us a stream detail page where you can see this information in the top panel, the viewer, and then the derivation tool, the content derivation tools, which I think actually makes sense. Then there will be a library for all of the transcripts, I guess, and then other UX features. So I said, yeah. That's fine. Update the sketch. Update the sketch. Perfect. Here's a fresh sketch. This isn't exactly a fresh sketch, but we're getting there. Okay, we're getting there. We're totally getting there. So, here's the UX enhancements based on your workflow. And that's where I stopped. That's where we started the stream, okay? So this is where we are. Now, let me catch up on chat really quickly, and then we're going to come back to the things we observed, because as Thindo said, hold on, let me change screens real quick. Let's pull this up. Thindo said, FFmpeg is built by video folks who happen to know programming. It gives you zero help with anything. If you don't already know exactly what you're doing, you're screwed. And good luck reading the docs if you don't have a video editing degree, which is so completely true. I abhor. So I really do not like doing anything with video and in code. It is one of, like, I would rather go work at the low levels of like semaphores and locks than do anything with video. I promise you. It is not my thing. So yeah. TBD Gamer said, yeah, I got Claude into a death spiral where it ended up replacing Entity Framework code with SQL because I kept telling it was wrong, providing it the error messages though, and that it wasn't much better than a toaster. Wait. So this is, I'm curious. I've been using a tool called Cursor for the non-developers watching to help me do a large part of my AI assisted coding. I do use Copilot within Visual Studio as well, right? But Cursor, I find is better at some of the UI things. And then when I need to do some of the backend things, I get a different reaction. And so I've not used Claude, but just this week, I heard like 8 people. I promise you, I'm not exaggerating. 8 different people have told me, oh, you need to be using Claude. You need to be using Claude. And I was like, sure, maybe. So I'm curious on y'all's experiences. If you've used Claude to help with your development workflow, let me know what that experience is like, especially if you end up having to tell it that it's no better than a toaster. Then said, suggestion, have it tell you if you start talking about what you're coding, if you're not in the coding scene. Yeah, true statement. True statement. Best regards, pro streamer. Finally, Thindo says, yeah, I'm a plebe. I use GitHub Copilot. Pretty cool with the new code of PR from an issue from me in the GitHub UI. I saw that. So for context for folks, within GitHub in the website, there is a feature where you can have it take an issue and then turn that issue to literally create a fix for that issue for you to then go review and potentially merge to fix the problem. I saw that feature. I've not played with it. As a part of my day job, I manage a number of open source repos, and I was wondering if we could use something like that. Now, at my job, we're not able to for security and compliance reasons. But I could easily see how that would speed up a lot, right? It sounds really, 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 really cool. Final comment, TBD Gamer says, Claude Code integration on Windows isn't stunning. It has to be done in Windows subsystem for Linux. I haven't been upset with it overall, but I've been learning the hard lessons about how to make effective prompts and instruction sets to feed it. Yeah, it's this is the reason why I never learned Ruby. I don't know if I ever told people this. I don't know if I've ever said this. So I don't know. Somewhere back in the day when Ruby was all the rage, I was like, yeah, I'm going to learn this thing. And then you couldn't get Ruby to compile on Windows. And I was like, oh, I guess I'll never do that again. And I never went back to it. Now we have Windows subsystem for Linux. I would still not go back. Shout out to the Ruby developers. Amazing group of people. I'm still not doing it. Okay, let me go have some more conversations with Copilot, because Copilot said that this is the UX it would suggest. Let's go revisit this tech stack thing. Remember I told you the tech stack was wrong? So here's how I envision this, okay? I start a stream, I end a stream. a webhook fires. That webhook hits like some API endpoint or serverless something that says, okay, stream's finished. Now, time to start your processing. Okay? So let me go see webhooks. Let's go see. How might you adjust this for building an eventing based system which uses webhooks and PubSub? Let's call architecture and web stack. Let's see what it says. You know, I love that they always start with something positive. Love where you're taking this, Corey. God, you know, trying to butter me up. I feel a little buttered up. Moving from a pull-based flow to an event-driven architecture using webhooks and PubSub will supercharge your app's responsiveness and scalability. Here's how I devolve the system design. Core idea is still the right idea. Stream ends, transcripts generated, blog draft completing, user editing the transcript. We'll get event emitters from the streaming platform. So if we subscribe to event hooks, great. Use a transcription service, fantastic. Use a content service, fantastic. Implement. Okay. So we're kind of getting there. We're kind of getting there. Implement with tools like Service Bus or Event Grid. Go RabbitMQ or Kafka. I've actually never built anything with RabbitMQ or with Kafka. This would be my first time. I have done Service Bus. I've never done anything with Event Grid, but I have done Service Bus. Would create pub subtopics, stream completed, transcript generated, content created for the blog, clip highlighted, right? So we'd have specific topics and then folks can subscribe. Okay, great. Then subscriber services. So we'd have a transcript service that would listen to be able to pick it up and generate the transcript. Content derivation service to then pick this up and then start to do some of the, after the transcript's generated, start to figure out what all is in there. Then we'd have a notification service to then go update things. I like this. I like where this is going. We're getting there. Front end. Okay, sorry, I'm laughing. I should tell you why I'm laughing. So for the front end, they say I should build this with ASP.NET Core and Blazor or React. As if there aren't any other single page application things. This is hilarious. Backend API, web API. Event bus, PubSub, use Event Grid or Service Bus. I don't know. Somebody tell me what Event Grid is. I don't know what that is. Let's actually go look that up. Hold on. Let's go get a new window. It sounds like it's raining. Oh, damn, this is bright. Okay. Event Grid is a cloud-based service that facilitates the creation of event-driven applications by enabling the routing of events. Is this like a replacement for what was the name of that thing? You know, what was the name of that thing? Oh God. It's on the tip of my tongue. I'm not going to remember it. But we used to be able to run the emulator and to have all the things running locally, you know, like the storage, and the key vault. We had everything running locally with Azure. I can't remember what the name of this is, but this feels like a replacement for all of that. Yes, that's what it is. Thendo said it. Azure Write. This feels like a replacement for Azure Write. Highly scalable, fully managed PubSub. That's exactly what this feels like. How old is this? This is how you know it's been a while since I've written code doing this. Well, I get MQTT. We're not doing anything with devices, so we'll disregard that. Data distribution using push and pull, right? That's PubSub. That's what you would expect. Event messaging, right? So Event Grid supports push and pull delivery using HTTP. With push, you define a destination and an event subscription, which is what event grid sent to which event grid sets events. I can't read. With pull delivery, subscribe applications connect and consume, right? That makes sense. Yeah, this feels like Azure Queues. Is Azure Queues no longer a thing in Azure? Because Azurite had Azure Queues. This is interesting. I've learned something new. Let me see what the pricing looks like. Okay, wait. Standard, basic, and standard. That's what I want. Expand the table. Throughput. I don't care about MQTT. Pull, you need standard. Publish, you get them both. Push delivery, you get them both. Okay. I guess I just need basic. I have no idea. I honestly have no idea. I feel like TBD Gamer. TBD Gamer's like, I never know which tool to go to in cloud stuff. There's too many options. Yeah, this is. I think I'm not going to consider this. Let me just ask a question. Wait. Let me, instead of doing this, Azure Queues. Oh my God, I'm very upset about this. I don't know if y'all see this. Microsoft shut down the movies and TV service, so you can't buy videos from the movies and TV service in the United States, well, really around the world anymore. And I am very upset about it because I have a lot of content from there. Okay, so Azure Queues are still around. Why can't I just use a queue? Well, I mean, I see it's outdated. Yeah, I see it's outdated. This is quite interesting. I think they're trying to push people to make money. I honestly think that's what this is. I feel like I should just be able to, let me see something. Sorry. Now I'm like off the rails. Give me 1 second. I'm going to get back on the rails. I think I have Azurite installed. Yeah, there goes the emulator. There goes attached. Storage accounts. Default ports. Yeah, why can't I just subscribe to an Azure queue? It's got to be cheaper. This is so foolish. Okay, I'm not going to get distracted. We're going to keep going. Let me go take a look at the comments real quick and just make sure that I'm not missing anything. Y'all, TBD Gamer said, my taskbar feels underpopulated. I'm only a minimalist on my digital screens. In my house, I have way too many things. I'm sorry, not TBD Gamer. Thindle said that. TBD Gamer said Microsoft seems to be tightening the purse strings. Yeah, that's probably why I ended up seeing Event Grid / Service Bus. Because I only use Service Bus when I work for a company. I was doing a project for a larger company and they paid for it. Otherwise, I would just go with queues and Azure Functions. Transcription. So what's interesting to me is, I don't know if y'all spotted this, but because I said I was building this in C#, notice how everything is in Azure Service. Other than these two, right? Using Azure Service, use more Azure Services, use more Azure Services, use more Azure Services, use more Azure Services. This is hilarious. I really don't know what to make of this. I feel like this is Microsoft trying to make money. Anyways, okay, let me keep going. So we're looking at the tech stack. I think I mostly agree with this stack though, right? I think we're kind of getting there. If we're going to do webhooks, we do need something, right? That I like functions because it's serverless. So only at the time of invocation will you pay for the function. Speech to text. We'll see if I can find a free thing. Maybe I can find a free something. or maybe I can use something in Azure OpenAI for that. File storage. I'm just gonna push everything to my OneDrive, but it'd be nice if I could select the destination. So that's a good flag. Database. I just want cheap. I'm not saving really anything in. I'm not saving anything in the database. Like this is probably like a JSON document store, if we're being really honest. So yeah. Oh, Namikuro is here. Welcome. Glad to have you. Let's cheer. What is the cheap data stores these days? Like it used to be that you could just put stuff in like blob storage or like oh, I don't have Azure right. I have to install it. Okay. Hold on. Let me run this in the background. Okay, I will not run this in the background. I'll do this off the stream and then I'll do it when we come back on stream. Yeah. I thought the cheapest storage before was like table storage. Cause I'm not doing anything. This isn't like operational. This is legitimately just a quick, like the only thing I would be saving is like a bunch of metadata about the streams. I'm not saving really anything. So yeah. Oh, look, Blur John is here. Hey, welcome to the stream. Glad to have you. Look at that. Let's give a cheer for that too. Hey, we got friends joining us in chat and all. Friends Plus. Dendo said table storage is probably the cheapest because it's under the storage service. Yeah. Wait, I can run Azurite and Docker. Can I? So anyone who's seen me on stream before knows that every time I start streaming, I never start Docker. I don't know why. I forget this all the time. It is what it is. And so now I'm starting Docker. Let's give the engine some time. And then let me see if I can, because if I can find the container, I can easily just start that. Okay, so using workflow. Example workflow using events. So I finish streaming. YouTube sends a webhook. I have a backend that receives this via Azure Function, like that. Azure Function takes it and publishes to the stream completed topic, right? Then from there, we subscribe to, okay, so my actual application or maybe I have another Azure Function, subscribe to stream completed, pick up whatever it needs to, and maybe we get a blob that we put into blob storage, and then we grab that and start to do transcription work on it. Once that's done, that publishes to this topic. Then, okay, so wait a minute. Maybe I can just build all of this with Azure Functions, because this could be an Azure Function, right? For all of this. This could be an Azure Function for all of that. I don't know how long it's going to take, so I'm going to start it as an API, but if I need to move it to an Azure Function, that wouldn't be hard. Then AI tools react. So subscribe services to do all these other things can react. And then the front end automatically updates using SignalR. Okay, I think I quite like this. Maybe Copilot was onto something after I told it that it should do something that I suggested. So let me ask, how might you update this to account for keeping costs low? I'm thinking mostly Azure Functions plus table storage, Azure table storage, plus what else is cheap? I said we wanted to use Azure Queues. Azure Queues plus likely some SignalR in here for notification. Go. I may just ask questions of Copilot just so I can feel better of myself, because, the way it starts, smart move, Corey. Now I feel smarter. Now I feel smarter. Your cost-conscious stack is lean, well-suited for scalable event-driven setup. Here's how we can reshape the architecture using functions, storage, queues, Signal R. Okay, here we go. Azure Functions handles all logic. Table storage stores stream metadata, transcripts, draft content. Very cheap, right? Excellent for structured look. That's what I said. I know, right? Azure Queues decouples the processing steps for pub sub. Simple messaging with local. This is what I said. See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? Pushes live updates to the dashboard. Real-time UX with scalable. Okay, so this is the only thing. I've never deployed. I don't think I've ever done Signal R. I've never done Signal R service for a personal project. I've only done it for work projects. I have no idea of how much it costs. So this is gonna get really fun really quickly. Okay. Let me ask the other side to this. Oh, look, they've given me a lot more. Check this out. They've walked through the entire workflow. Okay. Kind of like this. They should update this to include Azure Speech. I think, Thendos, you're the one who said Azure Speech was cheap. So that's something to keep in mind. But then they've given me table storage sketch, schema sketch. This is going to get interesting. Then they tell me about how I should integrate this into the UI. So the one thing I didn't figure out is how to make this. I think I want this to be, okay, so I'm going really cheap. I want the front end to be a spa, like a static app, right? Like I can just host the front end on Azure Static. I forget the name of the service. Can I do the front end as a Blazor spa app? Yep. Yeah. We don't care about all this. Yep. Okay, so we're like getting here. I think I have an architecture. Let me go read some comments because Thendo said, yeah. So Thendo, that's the pricing for Signal R, right? It's free for 20 concurrent and 20,000 daily messages. I would never use anything close to that. TBD Gamer says, sounds like the voice of experience. See, this is why you shouldn't just trust AI. 1 month from now, more streams crop up to cover the cost of building the software on stream. And when you see me starting to put out that tip jar, now you'll know why. Yeah. Yep. The Martians from the Muppets. I don't know why I do that too. My team. Shout out to my amazing team. They say that I have Coreyisms. You know, so there's certain things that I say and they love to use them back on me. But they'll be like, oh yeah, that's a Coreyism. Sometimes Corey says, and then they'll just start to use it. And I love it. So I'm going to add yep. Like sometimes I'll do, when I want to, we'll have a conversation about something. It'll be really deep. And I'm like, yeah, but that's not the point. So I'll go, blah, blah, blah. Let's get to the point. Not because I'm trying to cut them off, but because I'm like, no, let me refocus us. And so they've started using it on me. You know, managing teams is not for the faint of heart. When they start mocking you, that's now you know they really like you. Okay. Let me ask. So, can you generate an architecture diagram based on with Mermaid based on everything we talked about thus far? Aw, Thendo said, the biggest Coreyism is my contagious optimism. Aw. That's so sweet. I love that. Wait, can it not show Mermaid? Does Copilot not know how to show a mermaid diagram? That's a little awkward. Yeah, let me see if it'll. I was gonna go find a website. Can you render the mermaid diagram? Or turn it into a picture? That's kind of awkward. Copilot came up a little short. I was surprised. I thought I was going to get a nice, beautiful rendering. I did not. For those who have no idea of what a mermaid diagram is, a mermaid diagram is a fantastic way for you to visualize diagrams using a specific approach, schema, language, markup. It really, really is compelling. We're still working on it. We're getting there though. This is actually kind of cool though I think I may start using this for my blogs because I don't like doing anything with images either. So if I could just tell Copilot to generate my images, we can kind of get there. Dendo said, this is how you get 6 toes crooked dog or a mermaid with 2 tails. That's so true. TBD Gamer asked, I wonder if I can ask AI to reply to me only using pictures. I think you can, but then it's going to slow down after like 30 minutes, isn't it? Isn't it? Okay, we're almost there. A few more adjustments. I feel like I should give I saw something that said don't be polite to these AI tools because it costs money to process that and it does harm for the environment, even though using these AI tools does harm for the environment for now, whatever. But I feel like Copilot's so nice to me, I should be so nice back to it. Okay, here we go. What does this look like? So we have a Blazor Spa as our front end, and it connects to Signal R. Signal R is using the Signal R hub service. This is kind of not right, but maybe close. Okay. Look at this. It couldn't even get YouTube in there. It said FooTube. Twitch/Linder. I don't even know who these people are, but that's funny. So let's keep going. Azure Serverless Backend, where we have a webhook listener. That's an Azure function. Okay, yeah, so that's subscribed to YouTube. Then it pushes things into queues. Then those, yep. Okay, it's kind of getting there. It's kind of getting there. It's not quite there, but it's super close. Like this. You can't leave AI to do its own thing. I swear to God. Okay. Oh God, this is funny. This is funny. Okay, so we're close. We're not quite there, but we're close, y'all. What's broken? So, Signal R client, this Signal R thing is just wrong. Signal R service is probably where that should be. Azure Serverless Backend is mostly fine. I like the webhook listener. I like the queues. The names on these things is hilarious, especially Azure Funch. I mean, that feels like the name of a bag of chips. Hey, what do you want for dessert? Some Azure Funch. Azure Fun sounds like the name of a water park, an adventure park. Hey, where are we going? Oh, we're going to Azure Fun. Final storage, transcripts. Let me stop this. Transcripts. I'm sorry. Transcripts, blog drafts, clips/blobs. Final storage. That's kind of okay. I would probably put this in a storage thing. Signal storage service. What is this? I thought this was the same thing as that. And then why, in fact, why does this even exist? I'm so confused. Maybe this is meant to be the storage. So it didn't get the mermaid diagram right. I'm very sure. Okay, hold on. Let me try this. Okay. This is why you shouldn't, you really shouldn't leave me. Oh, I could use mermaid.ly. You shouldn't leave me to do my own things. Okay. Cause I'm kind of crazy. Let me see if this will work. If I just copy and paste it. It will likely not, but let's see. Uh-huh. 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 Okay, that didn't work. Okay. So I tried, y'all. I really tried. I really tried. Let me take the emote out. And let me take the, oh, look at this. It's got the BR tags, the line breaks. And then we can take this out. Okay, here we go. Next time I'm going to ask it to give me valid mermaid. It's 9:56. I have to take a look outside and see if it's raining. So after I finish checking this, I'll take a look. Oh, look at this. Now we have a diagram. We're kind of there. We're kind of there. We're kind of there. Uh-huh. Now this is like closer to correct, especially since we don't have Azure Funches. Especially since we don't have Azure Funches. This looks about right. I'm gonna follow this and see what happens. Okay. Give me 2 seconds. It's 3 minutes before the top of the hour. I have to step away, take a look outside, see what's happening. I have to check on the children. I told you we got some things going on. I'll come right back. We'll update. I will maybe go for like 10 or 15 more minutes, and then we'll wrap this thing up. Okay. Where's our BRB screen? I'm gonna turn the music up. We'll take this and be right back, y'all. Yeah. All right, y'all, we're back. We're back. Oh, wait a minute. Is there no stream cat? Wait a minute. I fixed that before I came on stream. I'm very sure that there was a stream category. Yeah. What? No. That's crazy. Okay, I'll fix that next time because we're gonna wrap up here in about 5 to 10-ish minutes. My bad about that. Hey, and thank you. I appreciate that. To this point, let me hit the comments real quick. It's the welcome to the stream. Glad to have you. Cheers for that. Let's keep going. Dindo says where Corey's going. We don't need no categories. Yeah, I'm surprised that I'm up here without a category. I'm very sure I set the categories before I started, so that it did not is interesting. I think something's broken between Restream and Twitch, but that's okay. TBD Gamer says, being that I live a little east, I'm not really hoping for rain, but the rain extends the stream. If the rain extends the stream, it wouldn't be the worst. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, no, it rained a little bit. I have to. Okay, so let me give y'all a little bit of background. I live in a really old house. Like the house was here. The house is celebrating 100 as I'm celebrating my birthday. Okay. So it just has holes. Like I don't even know how else to say it. It's so old. It has holes. So every time it rains, something goes wrong. I have to go do some walking of the house. I have to go make sure that there isn't any rain seeping into the basement. And then we got a couple more things I got to do to just make sure that the kids are okay. So we're going to go like probably about 10, 15 more minutes, not too much longer. I was supposed to cut the grass. I cannot cut wet grass. Let me tell you, this city kid who tried to cut wet grass learned his lesson the hard way. I will never do that again. And if there's anything you remember from this stream, it's do not try to cut wet grass. It will never work out well. I promise you. It may start off just fine. I promise you, it will not turn out well. So yeah, Bindo says he hopes to see us all at the TulsaDevelopers.net meetup in a week and a half. I was there this week. Shout out to the folks behind that meetup. I definitely was there. Okay, so I hit the air horn button. It didn't work. Shout out to the folks who ran that meetup. I watched this week. Shout out to Chad too. Love him. I saw a couple of folks who I connect with on stream there as well. So that was really cool. I will also be watching a week and a half from today. The event's not up yet, but make sure you go and RSVP. Finally, Thindle says, hey, will I get the house okay? I've given the house a lot of money. It will get nothing from me, just like the children. Yes. He says, I have a very, very light grass allergy. Also, when I was a kid, didn't react to fresh mowed grass at a distance, but couldn't be right behind the mower, which was a perfect excuse not to mow the grass. Yeah, I have a slight grass allergy as well. I can't cut the grass without putting on an N95 mask. And I have to put on gloves. But beyond that, I'm okay. So every week when I do cut the grass, I absolutely have to be outside with all the things. Otherwise, I'll be in here sneezing, coughing, looking crazy. So yeah. For those who are just joining, we are not coding as much today as we're architecting. I'm architecting with AI. We've been talking about this application that we're going to use to power our stream workflow. We're going to automate as much of this as possible. The other thing I'm find curious, and I know we have some streamers in chat. Streamers in chat, would y'all use this? I'm not turning this into a product. Let's be clear, okay? Because then I would have to add things like logging, tests. Who wants to do that? Not me. So I'm not turning this into a product. But if y'all would use it, I'm happy to open source this and, make it something that you would want to play with. I'm going to keep the code here as light as possible. Maybe, because Nindle says he's thinking about it, maybe I'll add some tests. Maybe. But I do like something like this. And I know, shout out to C# Fritz. I was watching his stream yesterday as well. He did an 8-hour workshop on building AI applications with .NET, and it was really good. I work for Okta. Okta sells Auth0. Auth0 has a number of products that could have helped for some of the stuff that he was doing. And so it would have been really interesting, but I absolutely loved the stream. So shout out to C# Fritz. Anyways, yeah, no, this is where we're at. So the streams are going to do what they do. They'll end. Then when they end, let me make that bigger. Then when they end, right, it's going to kick off a notification to a webhook, right? So I'll have this subscribed to one of the platforms. This will then grab the fact that the stream ended. It'll grab a bunch of the metadata, and it'll start to grab the transcript. Now, the thing is, it's missing something. We likely need to download the stream content. So it's probably less when the stream ends and more when the stream content is available. So that way this becomes less a transcript processor and more stream processor. So we're close. One of the things that we'll do is we'll grab the transcript from the stream processor, send it to Azure Speech to Text. Then when that's done, have it actually go to a queue. So we need to fix this. All of this is broken. We got to fix that. I like the idea of stream metadata storage. This is, I think, what goes into Azure Table Storage. And then when the transcript is ready, as well as any of the other content, we'll have different queues set up. So this one is just for the transcript. It'll then go generate the content, right? So we'll have an Azure function sitting here to do this. And this will go and work with whatever we need to from an AI perspective to do that. Then when that's done, we'll drop a notice in this queue. I don't know that SignalR, can someone remind me if SignalR service can do this? I don't believe you can do this. But I do think there needs to be like a notification service of some sort sitting back here as well. So we have a couple of things to fix, right? Like we got to change this so it's less transcript processor and more stream processor. We got to fix this so that it's less stream ends and more stream content available after. And then we got to fix this. Well, we need to take care of the fact that like there need to be more queues to do other things. And then we got to fix this part, this whole SignalR service part. So that way there's actually something to pay attention to the queue to then send the notification to the UI. And I think I'm going to change this. I'm pretty sure that I'm going to change this to be like a notification service. I'm very sure this needs a notification service because I then have the front end, which is a SignalR client. I don't know why that's the case, but the Blazor Spa will also be a SignalR client. It needs to be able to pull the notification service to know what's going on. So let me see what Copilot will say about this. I know all the other stuff I've got to fix. We have no concept of a notification service. So what if I wanted to add a notification service for the spa, for the Blazor Spa? How might you suggest updating the architecture to allow the notification service to know what's going on? I have to imagine you'll want the queue processing to save state information in table storage, in the stream metadata storage in table storage for the notification service. Notice how I'm guiding it to quickly query current state. Let's see what it says. You're thinking like a systems architect now, Corey. Very nicely done. Adding a notification service to your spa makes total sense. Okay, this is gonna go somewhere that it shouldn't. Watch this. I have a feeling. Here's how we can seamlessly fold that into your existing architecture while keeping costs low, performance high. Real-time or near real-time notifications for transcript complete, blog ready, short clip. Notifications show in the Blazor spa. Optional push support for mobile, email down the line. Centralized stream state and table storage. Spot on. Each queue processing function should update stream status in table storage. Okay, that's a start. This turns your storage into a lightweight state registry. Okay, that's a start. Your spa's already wired to Azure Signal R, so add categories of Signal R messages for each milestone. Okay, we're kind of getting there. Update the UI. That's kind of right. Notification service. Create an Azure function called Notification Dispatcher. Subscribe to key queues on trigger. Optionally right. Okay, this is actually what I expected. This is what I would want it to do. I didn't expect it to say this though. This is exactly what I would want to do. Is I'd want to create a notification service that is a subscriber to all of the queues and optionally knows, but we must save the state someplace. So that way the spa can, the spa can query that table in a quick query if need be, right? And then once Signal R pushes, Signal R can push a notification to the spa. It can respond by updating the UI, and then in the back end, make sure that the table has the latest information. Not bad. They got it right. Cheers for Microsoft Copilot. And this is Microsoft Copilot, not GitHub Copilot. What I like helps stubbing out the Azure function. See, okay, so here's the problem. These questions are terrible. Like, I guess, but I don't, that's way too deep in the details. We're not there yet. We still need to make sure that this is the right architecture. We have to update the architecture. So let me now bring this to a close. Summarize everything for me. Include the current architecture and tech stack. By the way, we need to replace the transcript. What did they call it? It was a transcript processor. Transcript processor with the stream processor. I don't know why I say it that way. That is both downloading the transcript of the stream as well as the blob from the stream. Okay, so include the current architecture and tech stack. What else did I want? Summarize, detail next steps to get started, and then that's it. Let's see what happens. I may actually create this right after the stream. Okay, so they've updated the mermaid diagram, but I don't know if I'll have to copy and paste that and see if it actually makes sense. Blazor Spa, Azure Signal R, Azure Queues, table storage, blob storage, Azure Functions. They got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 functions. Okay. Speech to text, OpenAI. I want to know. Never mind. I'll come back to that. We'll use these for the streaming sources. Notification service. Yup. Okay, good. Storage, table storage, blob storage. Yup. Optional auth. I didn't talk about auth. I did not talk about auth. So as the person who works for Okta, who supports a product named Auth0 to protect identity, the fact that I didn't talk about auth would probably get me fired if someone from Okta was watching. Let's not clip this and send this to my manager, okay? Okay. Next steps, create the Azure resources. We're not doing that. We're going to do all of that locally. Build a front-end MVP. Yeah, that's fine. We can do that. Write Azure functions. Yep, we can do all that. We can write that locally. Design table schemas. I have to imagine that this would probably come earlier, but whatever. Integrate SignalR. That's probably at the right step. Test the full flow. Plan cost optimization. Set function timeouts. Use premium tiers only if needed. Not doing that. Why is this thing trying to make Microsoft so much money? God. Keep the transcript and content processing modular. That's it. I like this. I mostly like this plan. Let's take it. Thanks for your help. Okay. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to hop off stream. We have a good plan. It's a fantastic plan. I'm going to take this, create the projects necessary to do this. I do want to come back to this because I said that because Thindle was thinking about using this, we're going to likely write some tests. And I'm probably going to figure out with Copilot, I'm actually more than likely just going to make Copilot write the test for me. I'm not going to do it. But we're going to get this open sourced. So I'm going to start open source by default. We'll put the MIT license on it. I'll put a decent README in there with the updated Mermaid and all of that. And then what we'll do, not next Saturday. So remember, we're back live likely next Sunday. More than likely right after church. Like I got to go get my Jesus in, pay some tithes and offering. And then after that, probably get some pancakes. And then we'll come back on stream. I'll share a fun update next week because we won't be live the following week. I think. Actually, let me look at the calendar. No, I lied. I'll wait 2 weeks. So I won't share the update next week. I'll share the update the following week. So not July 26th. I'll share a fun announcement on August 2nd. On August 2nd, make sure you're here. We're going to have an exciting time. And then, we're off to celebrate birthdays week after that. We got a lot going on between now and then. Listen, this has been a fantastic stream. Y'all have been amazing. Sound the air horn. There it goes. Y'all have been amazing. It's been a fun session. We did some architecting today. We're now going to take this, turn this into a project, open source it, share it with the world. If y'all have ideas, reach out. Corey L. Weathers on all the channels. Once I get this thing open sourced, I'll share it out on LinkedIn, on Blue Sky, and maybe I'll put it on. What's it name? Twitter. Maybe. I really don't like that platform anymore. So we'll see. But anyways, hey, listen, I hope y'all have a good rest of your weekend. We'll be back next Sunday, likely around 12 p.m. Eastern, but you never know. Make sure you subscribe to the channels. It is your boy Corey L. Weathers saying peace, friends. Enjoy the rest of your Saturdays. We're out of here. Later.